I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it, many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sun rises, when the sun
Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, the Suburban Viking. I am Midgard Axe. Got my buddy Dave here with me, and we are going over the CRKT Woods Chogan Tomahawk. So let's get into it. What I think about it, how'd I like throwing it, all that good jazz. Okay, I'll tell you guys this. Before we start the video off, I'll give you a little bit of information. In my first impressions video, if you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. I go over the first impressions. I unbox it and do all that. I will tell you this about this axe. Remember how I said that it felt like the weight was more evenly distributed than the Berserker did? And that it felt manageable, you know? It is manageable, but I will tell you this. After throwing it, I'll have to change my initial assessment and tell you that it is a little bit heavier after throwing this axe, okay? That doesn't mean that it's bad. It hits with some freaking force. It really does. But I will say that this feels like a mini Berserker, but it's way better than the Berserker. And the reason why I think it's way better than the Berserker is because it's manageable. Like I said before, the Berserker was really only good for a single rotation. You could go back and do doubles. I wouldn't go back any farther than that. This thing right here can go back to triple rotations and you're fine. It flies the same at triple as it does at double, okay? And at single rotations, you can throw this thing really hard. The weight felt a little heavy, but manageable, and I actually like that. You guys know I like head-heavy axes because I like when my axe, when it hits the target, I want it to hit with some force. And this pole on the back helped drive that bit forward into the target, which made a really good flying, hard-hitting, throwing tomahawk. With that being said, it was a very accurate thrower. It hit where I aimed, and when I stepped back for distance, I had no problem flipping this thing over for double and triple rotations. I will say this about this thing. You got to be careful with it, okay? Because you can easily start flicking your wrist over. I will say this. You can definitely feel that the weight is about from here to here, okay? You do have some in the back. And I started to kind of, when I first started getting into it, I could feel my wrist trying to kick, but it was correctable. As you guys can see here on the handle, I did have some walking, okay? And what I mean by walking is that, this is a friction fit handle, of course, and the head comes off the handle down here like this. Even when I would hit, sometimes it would come down, and as you guys know, when you throw a friction fit handle and the head comes loose and it kind of walks its way down, it'll kind of take chunks out. But I will say this thing has a way better seat than the Berserker does, and it's really tight. It took some force for me throwing this thing really hard to get this head to come loose from the handle. Normal throws, just kind of tossing it at an average speed, I didn't have any walkout or this thing coming loose. It was only when I was throwing it really hard, okay? So that is nice. That the fitment on this one is really nice. It's way better than the Berserker. This Tomahawk has thicker cheeks, okay, because they call it like an all-around axe, and the bit was a little thicker too. I did reprofile the bit, and I shaved the cheeks down just a little bit. It's still pretty thick up in here, okay, up in this area. But I will say that after I thinned it down and reprofiled the bit, it's almost as sharp as it was when I first started throwing it. So the edge retention on this is actually pretty nice. And you guys saw I was throwing this thing really hard. As you can see here, I didn't have hardly any edge rollover on this except for right up here. You can see the edge rollover. But other than that, the bit held up really well. I mean, it's a little dull, but it's not as dull as I would have expected it to be. So the edge did hold very nicely. The handle felt really good in the hand. I had no issues with this handle at all. It came out of the hand cleanly and it felt really good. I will say that if you have larger hands, I got kind of medium-sized hands. If you have larger hands, this handle might be a little uncomfortable. It might be a little too thin for you, but all in all, the handle's not bad at all. So would I recommend getting this? Yeah, I would. I actually really enjoyed throwing this. It was a nice throwing Tomahawk. It held up very well. It did really good for distance, and the edge held. The seatment on it is not bad at all. And to be honest with you guys, I would rather have this over the Berserker. Out of all the CRKT axes that I've reviewed and I've experienced, this is the best one that I've experienced and reviewed so far. So CRKT redeemed themselves after the review of the Freyr axe. This is a good one, guys. I really did enjoy this. It was a fun thrower. Dave enjoyed watching me throw it. He actually didn't have anything negative to say. He just kind of watched, so he gives it his approval as well. So, if you guys want to win this axe, it's going to one of you. Go down in the comment section, write axe. One comment per person. You must be subscribed to me, and I'm going to let it run for 5 days. After the 5 days is over, one of you are going to win this axe. Really excited about giving this one out to you guys. I was really hoping that CRKT would come in at some point in time with a good one to redeem themselves, and it looks like we got one here. I'd rather have this than the Berserker, guys. I really would. I really enjoyed throwing this, and I'm not just saying that. It held up really well. The edge held up really well. It was a really good flyer, so I want to give it to one of you guys. CRKT Woods Chogan Tomahawk. I recommend buying one. They're pretty cool, guys. And if you don't want to buy one, go in the comment section and win this one, okay? Thanks for everything everybody does. Thanks for all your support. I got a bunch of axes coming up. I'm going to throw in some different videos in between axe reviews. The next axe review is going to be really cool, so stick around, come back and watch that one. And I'm going to have some how-tos and some custom builds that I'm going to do in the future, so can't wait to do those for you. Thanks for all your support. Till next time, guys. See ya. Ooh, bullseye. I love it. See you guys.